Hey, check it out, Baldur's Gate 3 updated. We've got paladins now. Like, I think we're getting close. We're getting close to actually having the complete player's handbook now. Like, what are we missing? There's, like, the best class. We've got that, which is great. The best class thematically, but the worst class in-game. Actually, I don't know what it's like in this game. I've heard it's actually pretty good. So, not an accurate representation of the tabletop experience. Although I have heard, like, the new subclass is pretty good. Which is nice because I've always liked Ranger in like a thematic sense, but never actually playing it. The only time I've ever enjoyed this kind of like archetype in a video game really is World of Warcraft. And then we've got the Barbarian, which after playing the Mad Dog Barbarian from Pathfinder, it's like, I just want that in every game. I want the Mad Dog Barbarian in every game, because what is cooler than charging into combat with a big fuck you two-handed axe while your goddamn Velociraptor or Mammoth or saber-toothed cat or giant centipede or boar or bear or whatever the have you just charges in with you and you rip shit together. That is friendship, my friends. But yeah, I mean, this is probably what I'll end up playing, to be perfectly honest, because I love barbarians. Bard is really cool. Like, Bard is a lot of people's favorite class. It's like the default favorite class for people who've been playing D&D for a long time, because it's just it's like the cleric, but it's more fun to play. It's like it's open to so much. So much. There can be like 6 bards in the room and none of them will actually play the same, but every one of them will want to fuck everything you run across, so that's fun. Also, I like the fact that in this game you can get different goddamn instruments and they actually affect the music, which is cool. This is like the first game I've ever played where playing a bard actually kind of feels like playing a bard, which is neat. We got the cleric, which is on paper one of my favorite classes, but I'm too stupid to play them usually. That being said, the cleric is typically my go-to class in Neverwinter Nights, my favorite game of all time, because especially Neverwinter Nights 2, and that's mainly because you can choose the animal domain and get an animal companion. Are you noticing a theme with me? And the animal domain cleric with like the war domain, where you get your god's favorite weapon as like not a preference, a proficiency. That's it. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh god, get away from me. So yeah, like oh god, what's going on with the screen? But clerics are pretty fucking fun, man. Like, clerics, people look at clerics. Like, every time you get a cleric in a video game, it's the same thing. Oh, the life domain! I'm the guy in chainmail that heals. No. The last cleric I actually played in tabletop, her name was Kikarine. She was this bird person. Stop with the Rick and Morty references. I am Kikarine. Yes, I am bird person. And her whole thing was moving into a rundown area, building it the fuck up, claiming all the goddamn credit, and then moving on to the next area. That was her whole thing. In fact, I actually retired her because it fit thematically, where it's like, okay, we've got into this massive fight, and she's just got her ass absolutely fucking handed to her and almost died. And at that point, she was like, Kikarine does not wish to go into combat. This is too much for Kikarine. Kikarine will stay back, and she will build, and she will improve things, and everything will be okay. Like that, and then I rolled a barbarian because it's the best class. But Kikarine was one of my favorite characters in terms of pure uniqueness, because cleric? She was a forged domain cleric. That's cool! Cleric is such a cool class. There is so much more to cleric than fucking life and death. But that's all it ever is in every fucking video game. I'm the healer! No, you're not. You're so much more, but this is all you ever get to be. Also, there's the light domain, because life and light, and then there's trickery, because we have to have a dark one in there. So basically a shit rogue in like medium armor, more than likely. It's like, come on. There's so much to cleric, and every single fucking game in history outside of Neverwinter Nights fucks it up. We got the new paladin. Oh, for the ancients! Hey! See, if I was going to play a paladin, Admittedly, my last character was a paladin, and it was an Oath of Vengeance paladin, but that's purely because it fit with the character. He got fucked over by his family, and he turned into this fucking brooding edgelord. It was fun. Oath of the Ancients. Like, I love the idea of being I am a guardian of nature. Fuck with my greenery and get smited, even. Like, I like that shit. You fight on the side of light and cosmic struggle against darkness to preserve the sanctity of life and the beauty of nature. I like, however, the default character right now is a fucking lolf. Following goddamn drow. Let's change that to something a little bit more, there we go. Oh yeah, she looks very happy with life. Yeah, she hates her parents. We all know this. Right, class. So, that's cool. Oath of Ancients. I'm glad they've got that one. That one seems to be one of the ones that people kind of forget. It's always, with Paladins, it's always the same thing. It's the, I am the holy justicar of all that is good in the world. I am the most annoying character in the goddamn party. Or it's, I am an edgelord. Cue the heavy metal music. I am an edgelord. I sacrifice my oath in order to kill people because I was fucked over one day. I got into a debate with I got into the debate over orcs and whether or not a baby orc is evil and needs to be smited. You know. So what do we, Oath of Devotion. Okay, well that is, I'll give it to the Paladins. The default armor is badass. Badass. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Oath of Devotion. Oath of the Ancients is still the best one. More my colours. Oath of the, like, we've got Oath of the Ancients and Oath of Devotion, so we've not got Edgelord Paladin. Fair enough. You don't typically get an Edgelord Paladin, but if you do get an Edgelord Paladin, it's, you know, it's like, you get like your goody two shoes Paladin and your Edgelord Paladin. You never really get Oath of the Ancients, so it's cool that they've thrown that in there. Fighter. Fighter is such an Fighter is the Marmite of Dungeons and Dragons classes, because it's like, it's really good. People shit over like, here's the thing. If you shit over the fighter, it's probably because you're playing a wizard or a bard. That's why you're shitting over the fighter, because you're playing one of these fucking micromanaging classes where the entire thing you do is basically fuck around with a billion spells on your, like, sheets upon sheets upon sheets, and then you have an answer for fucking everything. But fighter is so much better, in my opinion, because, again, my first fighter was, in fact, people say, oh, you're playing a paladin, right? Like, no. My first fighter was, his name was Grimbald Frey. He was like a warrior of the Monglunar Church. Basically, an order of werewolves who practice repression and so on and so forth in a religious sort of way in order to withhold the beast inside them. Because I think one of the lines he said at one point where it was like, what would you rather have? A child be abused by, you know, preventing the wolf from coming out, dealing with this repression and all that, or would you have him lose his goddamn mind, slaughter his entire family and village because you decided to coddle him? It's like, yeah, like, there was a opposing faction of werewolves as well who were basically just, were the goddamn free fighters. I ended up playing one of them as well. His name was Amos Moses. And he talked like this, kind of like Boomhauer. I'm just a free werewolf, man. That's all I do. I just want to have some fun. But Grimbald Frey was very serious. He was very stoic, and then he ended up turning against the party and being a bad guy. Fun times. But he was a fighter. He was a sword and shield fighter, because I care more about theme than going for the typical two-handed kind of like polearm mastery kind of thing. But, like, yeah, like, fighters are cool. Fighters are like the most blank slate race. You can be anything. You can do what the fuck you want. You can mix a fighter with, like, the acolyte background and be kind of like an entry-level mage or fucking, like, priest or something like that. You can do shit like that. There's so much... Like, you play a druid, you know what you're getting. You play a rogue, you know what you're getting. You play a bard. Okay, bards are open. But you still, there's a few traits that's coming through, you know? Barbarians are set in stone, paladins are set in stone, sorcerers are basically set in stone with a few bits of riddle room. Warlocks are thematically, like, mechanically set in stone. There's not much you're getting away with that. Rangers are set in stone. But a fighter is without a doubt, with possibly cleric being a close second. And, like, I mean, again, bards are open as well, but fighter is the most blank slate of any of the classes. You can put whatever fucking character you want on a fighter and it works. They're such a cool fucking class, and unfortunately in most video games they just can't kind of like get bogged down, because one of the main reasons like you would play a fighter, in my opinion, would be because they're such blank slates as a character, and video games just do not have the same amount of options of tabletop. But I'll give it to Lorien. Like, in their more recent games, they tend to be... They're by far the most open to player input of any of the modern RPGs I've played. It's kind of insane, like, what the kind of shit they let you do. The multitudes of ways they let you handle every situation. It's insane. I love it. But Fighter's great. I love Fighter. Druid I love thematically. I'm a big nature guy. I'm a big tribal guy. But I don't like casters. I find casters to be really boring. That being said, I do want to play a druid at some point for one major reason. You can't choose it until later on, but I want to be a shapeshifter druid. I love the idea at some point in the future playing a druid barbarian where I essentially wild shape into a bear and rage. To me, that sounds badass. Like a druid that becomes an animal and then becomes a fucking barbarian rage machine. That sounds fun to me. But honestly, I don't like casters most of the time because I don't want to micromanage. I don't want to deal with like pages of pages of bullshit. It's why I will never play a fucking wizard, especially even if they are like the best class in the game, like on a combat and like. Not even a combat, but on a mechanics level, they are the best class in the game because you can do so fucking much with them. I'll never play one because they're just there's so much bullshit on the screen. It's like if you've played Path of Exile and you looked at that skill window, that skill tree, and you didn't like step back from the chair and walk away. It's like, okay, I'll be back in a month. It's like, if that wasn't your reaction, instead of unequivocal dread, you were like, cool. Like, okay, then that's the wizard for you. But I am dread. I don't like seeing so much shit. Like, even the cleric was a bit much for me. Casters are too much, man. But I respect cleric in general because again, like I can play in Neverwinter Nights, I can play cleric as a warrior with off casting, so I can do a bit of healing, I can do a bit of buffing, you know, that kind of thing. I like that. I like an off caster. I like a character that can unleash hell without me putting much brain power into it because I don't have much of it, but also can do a little bit of fiddly biddly bullshit to kind of help the group out. That's what I like. So yeah, like cleric is cool. Again, ranger. That's basically what a ranger is if it's working right. And I like it thematically, but yeah, it's a shame. I'm hoping ranger is good in this game because I love animal companions, man. And I don't think I play it ranged. I think I play it... No, actually, in a game like this, I think I would play it ranged because I know in Divinity Original Sin 2, Ranger was fucking broken, which was nice. But, yeah, Rogue was my first character. I've talked about Truth Miner on many occasions. I've got his figure back there, his mini. I've talked about Truth Miner on many occasions. Oh my god, can we make Truth Miner? That would be funny. I love Rogue. I'm very soft. But honestly, Rogue depends on house rules. So, for example, in my first game I played Rogue, but with my current DM, I don't think I'll play Rogue again because she's very specific about backstab and like critical bullshit now. So I'm too stupid to play it optimally, I think, so I wouldn't play it again. I'm glad it was my first class though. I have a soft spot for Rogue. I remember Rogues in Neverwinter Nights being pretty fucking fun as well because like the sheer amount of bullshit Dodge could do, it's insane. Sorcerer, I like Sorcerer more than Wizard because there's more shit going on. Draconic Bloodline is just cool. And it would be kind of cool to play that in a game that makes use of it rather than it just being a basic tank. And used as a kind of like a side buff for some classes to give them a bit more, you know, hit points. Warlock is really cool thematically. I want to play a Warlock at some point. The Fiend, the Great Old One. I would probably play as either... I think if I was going to play a Warlock, I kind of like the Celestial Warlock or the Fey Warlock kind of idea. So none of these kind of appeal to me. I certainly don't want to play the Fiend Warlock because that's boring, but the Great Old One, that could be fun, especially if you're a Lovecraft fan. That seems cool. But it's like, what are we missing? The Artificer comes to mind, but we won't be getting that because that's not in the player's handbook. What are we missing? Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer, Warlock. What are we missing? Wizard. We're missing something. We're missing one more class, aren't we? Oh god, it actually bugs me that I don't know what we're missing. I'm trying to think. My favorite classes, like Barbarian, definitely. Fighter, Cleric, Ranger, Druid. It must not be a class that I care too much about because I can't actually remember it. D&D classes. I'm on D&D Beyond right now. I'm looking it up because I don't know if I can't actually remember. I'm sure we're missing one more class, or is this the final class? If that's the case, this space back here is for the Artificer. Then we may not be getting it right away. Monk. That's who we're missing. The least fantasy class of them all. The anime character. Okay, that's who we're missing. Okay, well we've got all the ones that matter in now. Anyway, what about races? Like this is the thing that pains me. This is why I'm having a difficult time playing this beyond what I've played. Because okay, which class has the least armor? So we can. I think the barbarian. It'll be the barbarian. All right, so we've got half elf. The kind of like edgy version, well, not the edgy, but the depressed version of the elf. That's kind of it. Like half elves are for humans that want half elves are for elf players that want beards. So yeah, obviously if you're playing female, it doesn't matter. Can you actually have a beard? Wait, you can have a beard in this game as an elf, can't you? Oh look, it's Legolas. Yeah, like I don't like elves. Okay, so here's my biggest complaint about this game. The elves are human. So here's the thing. If you're making an elf, I want it to look fey. I want it to look like it has fey ancestry. I want it to have more than pointy ears. Because here's the thing. Pointy ears is not fucking unique. Here's a gnome. Gnome has pointy ears. And there's a lot more going on for a gnome than an elf. Why? Because it's more interesting. No, not just because it's short. Shut up. But let's see. We've got the Gif Yankee. They also have pointy ears, and they're not even elves. You know, okay, drow are elves. Never mind. Tieflings also have pointy ears. Like pointy ears aren't unique. That's all. Like here's what's going on for an elf. It's a human with more pointed features. That's all it is. But it needs to be so much more. You need to look at an elf and think, oh, what's that? It needs to be uncanny. There needs to be something not quite right about it. It needs to have that weird mixture of fey and human. And almost fucking nobody does that because they want just sexy humans. Look, the humans are sexy enough. This is a sexy man. This is a sexy woman. Like, these look good. These are attractive people. You don't need the pointy ears to really do... Admittedly, though, that facial structure... Okay, and she's got green eyes as well. The blonde hair ruins it, but the rest... Okay, but still, elves need to be more than just sexy and thin. They need that fey look to them. They need to look otherworldly, and they just don't. They just look like fucking humans. So it's like, yeah, like there's the human, elf, tiefling. Here's my problem with tieflings. I like tieflings. Tieflings are cool, but I'll never play as one. You know why? Because in order to have a tiefling that doesn't look stupid in, like, most things, I'm gonna be racist here, you need a skin color that doesn't look stupid. Right? So, that looks dumb. Like, all of these red colors look dumb. The pink colors look dumb. If you're playing a different one, let's see, race, Mephistopheles, here we go. So, appearance. Yeah, the purple looks better. Like, here's the thing. When you look at alien races and things, there's a reason why most of them choose blue. And that's because blue is the... Like, out of all the colors you could choose from, okay? Because, like, tieflings can be all of these. Tieflings can be green. Tieflings can be white. Like, no, not white. I mean pure white. Did he have that option? Doesn't look like it. Gray, yeah. Tieflings can be gray and all that kind of thing. They can be bright purple. They can be green. They can be all these fucking colors, right? And most of them look fucking awful. The wackiest color you can be... Ooh, that looks good. The wackiest color you can be while still looking good is blue. And I think there's a reason why blue is pale blue. Like that. Like, that looks good. That looks fine. There's nothing too wrong with that. There's nothing that sticks out with that too much. And this is coming from a person that doesn't exactly like blue as a color. In fact, as a man, blue is as boring to me as pink is for a lot of women. Because it's in fucking everything. If you are a man and you want to find clothes that aren't blue, good fucking luck. Because you've got black, you've got grey, you've got white, and you've got blue. There are your colours. Occasionally you'll find something else. It's fucking annoying. But yeah. So blue, I'm kind of bored of. I hate. But, you know, it looks good. But personally speaking, if I was going to play a tiefling, I'd probably play them grey. Because I think grey just looks better. Yeah, like that grey looks way better than anything else. The problem then, though, is the more skin-looking the tail looks, the weirder it looks. So if I choose, like, white skin, for example, that looks weird, man. This is some splice shit. That looks weird. Again, if I go black, that looks fucking weird, man. That doesn't look right. So if I'm choosing normal-ass skin tones, the tail doesn't look right. So either you go for a color in which the tail looks fine, but the rest of it looks weird, or you go for a color which the rest of you looks weird, but the tail looks so the rest of you looks fine, but the tail looks fine. Basically, what I'm saying is tieflings clash like fucking crazy. Especially, like, I think they'd be fine in a sci-fi game with like bright colors and neon lights, but in like a fantasy game, they just look fucking weird. And I guess that's the point. I guess I'm being racist, but whatever. I don't like tieflings. In terms of like looking at them, I think they're kind of awkward to look at. And again, I know that's basically the point, but yeah, I don't like tieflings. I would much rather play as an ASMR, which isn't in the 5th edition Player's Handbook. So I doubt we'll be getting that, at least right away. Drow. Why they have separated elves and drow, I don't know. Because it's like, elves are overrated, but drow, fucking hell, drow are overrated. I mean, I like them more than elves, you know? Can you choose, like, the pure black skin? Like, I mean black. Can you? You can. That's a drow. The problem I have with drow, I've talked about this before, it's the same issue I have with tieflings. Pure black works because black goes with everything. But, I need, like, these various tones of black work as well. Like, the grey tone. These are nice looking. Like, pure, like, the pallid look tone looks good as well. It's like, but that's the problem. If you go with this, and then you choose your hair color, and you go with this. Ooh, fuck me, that's stunning. I like that fade. But that isn't a drow at that point. That's just an emo elf. That's the thing. You need, on a drow, you need the dark skin. And you need the dark skin and you need the pale hair. Otherwise, it looks off. It looks weird. So, yeah. So, let's see. If I choose white, though, like, white's the classic. Can we not have an actual white? Just, like, that's like an off-blonde. What the fuck's that? It looks like a mop. Where the fuck is the pure white? There we go. Okay, there we go. But that looks a bit weird. And the reason why it looks weird is because it's pure black on pure white. And that just looks kind of... It looks like a wig. So you're going to want like a mild color. Maybe gray would look better. But then will it blend in too much? Maybe pink or purple. Like a mild purple. See, now I just look like somebody that streams on Twitch. So I don't know. And this is the issue I have with drows. Like, the skin color's fine, I've got no problem with that. But then when you get to the hair, you either go full-on Twitch streamer, or you fucking... It stands out too much. It doesn't quite work. But if you go for the black, it blends in too much, and it's not a drow anymore. It's just a goth elf. So it's like, The problem, again, it's the same problem I have with the tiefling. Dwarf! I never used to care about dwarves. Again, these don't exist. This is a dwarf. Oh, fuck. Oh, look at that Chester. See, they're getting it right. They're getting it right. This fucking Chester, this is a dwarf. A proper dwarf. Now, I never used to really care that much about dwarves until I played one, and now I really like them. But it's funny, because one of my... Oh, wow. Fucking hell. This man is an ape. But the problem I have with dwarves is they're short. And yes, one of my favorite races in the game is a short stack, but I don't know. Gif Yankee. I like the Gif Yankee. I really like the Gif Yankee. And it's so fucking cool that we're finally getting a game in which we can fucking play a Gif Yankee. They've been like antagonists for goddamn years. They're just these weird space elves that are apparently humans, and you never see anything about them. There's so little kind of done with them, and they're cool, and they're interesting, and they can like fit in both they can fit in any aesthetic from D&D works with the Gif Yankee, because they are a dimension traveling entity. Any setting works with them. And they get no love whatsoever. So it's really cool that we can finally play a fucking Gif Yankee. And if there's any story setting in which a Gif Yankee works, it's this. So, yeah, dude, I love the Gif Yankee. They're badass. And I will say, it's kind of cool that they've actually made... Okay, not that one. They've actually made Gif Yankee that are hot. Like... Okay, it's made... Oh, head 6 is nice. Head 7? No. No. Okay, it's head 2. Head 2. Head 2 exists. They've actually made Gif Yankee that are hot. And again, because, okay, they have off-colored skin, okay, and green tends not to work. Green is kind of sickly, unless you go for like a paley green like that. However, they also look good with like normal human skin colors. Like, they look fine with normal human skin colors. They were human after all. Normal human skin colors work on them. They look fine. But they also work with the green. Admittedly, I prefer a paler muted green, but that's fine. I like that. You can still tell that they're a Gif Yankee. But it's not too much. Like, the paler muted green is fine. Or I like this tone that kind of mixes the normal human skin tones together with a little bit of a green hue. That's probably the one I'd end up choosing. One of these. Because I like that. It mixes the two of them together. You can even see, like, the green veins there. Badass, man. I love these guys. But what really sets these guys apart is the, it's this stuff. It's the markings. Doesn't matter what you choose, you have those. And what these really nicely do is blend into her. Dark her with highlights. What she's got on right now. Let's get rid of that Harley Quinn bullshit. Let's give her something a little bit more respectable. So, let's see. There's like braided stuff, isn't there? Well, that's cool, actually. So I want her that really that works. I want her that really shows the ears off, that doesn't look weird with the ears. I love the hairstyle, man. Can you tell, like, barbarians? So we'll have this, and then what we'll do is we'll throw in a hair highlight. What's the highlight? Okay, there are my hair colors. These must be the highlights. Yeah, these are the highlights. Look at that. Now, if we also mix that with green eyes, that'll look fucking brilliant. Again, we've got these dark things that really mix well with a dark hair base. It's not going to look as good if we swap over to something like this. So if we swap over to something like this, then it doesn't look as good. But if you've got even a brown, okay, not as much. If you have like a dark base, that works really well because it kind of like blends the face together. So you can have more standoutish colors that don't look fucking ridiculous. And because the Gif Yankee themselves also look kind of weird, but not so weird, they don't stand out too much. They don't look like a character a YouTuber or a streamer would make because her clownish characters are funny. Like, they actually look like a legit character, and I like that. I love the Gif Yankee. Like, if we don't get any other races in the game, this is what I'm playing, because it's really fucking cool to finally goddamn get a Gif Yankee in one of these goddamn games. Human, they're in every game in existence. You play them because you're mid-maxing or because you're boring. Half-elf, Halflings are really cool. They are undoubtedly one of the best races in D&D. However, gnomes exist. And, okay. I legitimately, at one point in my life, sat down and thought to myself, okay, what race am I in this video game? If we're taking... If we're going through every race in D&D in the player's handbook, what race am I? What race best suits me as a person? You know, which race, if you met like a classic, typical version of their race, would be the closest to me in personality, right? And that race is the goddamn forest gnome. And what's really cool with this goddamn game is we actually have forest gnomes. Because forest gnomes, again, get fucking forgotten. Where's the bold option, goddammit? Give me the shaven option. Can they not be shaven? Can I not shave my gnomes? There we go. That's fine. Okay. So, forest gnomes. Even smaller than their cousins and twice as reclusive, forest gnomes are a rare sight in Faerun. They master magic and craftsmanship in their distinct idyllic style, or groves. Okay, so gnomes are recluses, they're hermits, and their only friends are like forest bullshit, like little tiny cute little animals like squirrels and bunnies. They like spending time in their garden and working on their hobbies. But generally speaking, in general, if you meet one of them, they're pleasant and peppy and just really nice people to be around. Like, in my opinion, if we would take all the playable races in D&D and order them in most like me to least like me, the forest gnome would be the most like me. And because of that, I fucking love them. The only thing I don't like about them is their fucking short stacks. And I'd rather play it as a tall race, because I am pretty fucking tall. But, you know, the fact that they're so much like me makes me like them. They are one of my favorite races in the game. We do not have the races I would rather play, though. Because what we have is pointy-eared human, pointy-eared human with horns, tail, and bright color palette. Although, I will say, the detail they've put into the tieflings with, like, the almost... like, webbed bones. Like, I don't know whether these are bone patterns or these are, like, horns. Like, bone protrusions beyond just the horns. It's like, these actually look like there's extra, like, cartilage under the goddamn skin. Almost, like, the ribcage here almost looks like wings. It's like, I actually really like that about tieflings in this game, where you can't actually see it. Yeah, the elbow there. These, like, extra cartilage protrusions are really fucking cool. I'll give them the extra detail for the tieflings and the Gif Yankee are the only race that are more than just human. We got the drow, which are pure black humans with pointy ears. We've got the short, wide humans. We've got the humans. We've got the half humans with like not as pointy ears. We've got the short humans, and we've got the short, pointy-eared humans. Like, we've got the Gif Yankee, which are actually fucking different and interesting and cool and work with it. We've got the tieflings, which are different and interesting and cool. And then we've got a bunch of humans of various shapes and sizes. So what we're waiting for are the orcs, the half-orcs, I mean, and the dragonborn, which I'm assuming will go hya and hya. Unless they add 3 and push this up a little bit, because they could do that, there's enough room, at which point I would hope we'd have the half-orcs, the dragonborn, and the ASMR. Out of all the races they've not added, that they could probably easily add, it would probably be the ASMR. That's what I would hope. Because then it would be a struggle between me playing as an ASMR, a Dragonborn, or a Githyanki. And depending on how the Dragonborn looked, I would probably play the Dragonborn. Because the fucking detail of these characters in terms of their body is really fucking cool, man. These characters look amazing. And I cannot wait to see what the Dragonborn look like. And I hope they're not these big, burly motherfuckers. I prefer a body type that is like... slightly more buff than this. Like, this is too athletic, I think. I'd like thicker arms. Like, somewhere between... Like, I don't want that big. You know what I mean? I want something bigger than this, but smaller than this. So, where it's like, you can tell they're stronger than the average human, but they're not monsters. You know what I mean? So I can't wait for Dragonborn. The only issue with Dragonborn is they canonically do not have tails. But let's face it, who the fuck plays a Dragonborn in D&D and doesn't give them a tail? Because they look weird without tails. They're lizard people. Incidentally, if they would add one race to this game outside of what they would probably add, it would be the lizard folk. I fucking love lizard folk. I would love to play as a lizard folk in a video game. But again, Dragonborn would be another one of these. The only game that has come out, as far as I'm aware, in D&D style game, that you can play Dragonborn in, is the fucking MMO. I want to play a Dragonborn in this game. And again, the Dragonborn in the MMO are a bit too burly for my taste. But, like, yeah, I want one that's more like in the player's handbook. That's more, like, more slimmer, you know? But, as it stands, I'm probably playing as a Githyanki, just because I really like them. I think I'm in the minority with that, though. In fact, I think I'm in the minority with my taste in, like, races in general. Okay, I love ASMR. That's common. I love Dragonborn. That's common, although nobody plays them because there are better options in terms of min-maxing. But I don't think anyone loves Githyanki. I think they're really cool and we never see them as anything other than throwaway antagonists. And I also love Lizardman. And what was the other one that I said? Gnomes. Nobody plays gnomes. Why? Because one of the strongest races in the game exists. And there it is right there. Lucky. When you roll for a 1 on an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can roll the dice and must use the new roll. That is such a good fucking basic ass ability. In fact, I think this is even a feat that you can acquire. And you get this as fucking default. This is, in my opinion, the best race in the fucking game because of that. And it's so... Why would you... In terms of min-maxing, why the fuck would you play a gnome or an elf when you could play that? Because let's be honest, that's what a gnome is. It's a halfling elf. You know... Like, in terms of visuals, that's what it is. Why would you play that when you could play this? Oh, sorry, why would you play this when you could play that? So, halflings always outshine gnomes. Every step of the way, to the point where people even don't know what gnomes are. It's like, gnomes are the small forest people that don't have the hoitiness of elves. That's what they are. Gnomes are the actual fucking Fae race. They are the race that most closely resemble what, in my opinion, Fae kind of are, outside of them being bastards on occasion. Halflings are just, hobbits. That's what a halfling is. A halfling is a copyright-free hobbit. And then we've got an elf, which is the boring Fae. But, you're like, yeah, so I like gnomes. It's such a shame, man. I like... Also, it's really funny playing a gnome barbarian. You're being a little short stack like this, wielding a big fuck-offy weapon. It's great. But yeah, man, we're just waiting on... We're waiting on the monk. We're not gonna get the artificer. Maybe in a future... maybe in a future game. They might add a companion. I have heard that there is a character in the game that's probably an artificer as well. Whether or not they're or artificer, however you pronounce it, whether or not they're a companion or an enemy or whatnot, I don't know, because I'm trying to avoid a lot of late game spoilers, but I have heard news. I've only ever played like the first area, I've not gone beyond that. And even then I've not explored it in depth because it's not the main game, it's going to be reset. But yeah, like GIF Yankee is what I've played for the most part. I have played a bit of gnomes because I like gnomes. Gnomes are really cool. Let's see. Let's make a gnome. And I know these are based on real people, which makes me kind of feel bad for when I insult the way they look. But I swear to God, for most of these races, there's like one attractive face, and then the rest look awful. Where's the wild child her? I'll show you my... Ooh, I like that one. I don't tend to like pigtails, though. That's the thing with me. I don't like pigtails of any form. Like, I can look at them, but then I'll think, oh, no, wait. No, we'll not do it. By Azura, by Azura, by Azura! The grand champion! That one I really like. That's a great look. But I think it's very basic and generic. So I won't use it, but I like it. That one I really like. Same thing. The only thing I'd improve with this, I'd have something that I like this, except the lack of danglies in the front. I'm looking for the one I would probably end up using. Or is it? And have used before. There's so many hairstyles now. It's actually kind of great. That's nice. I really like that. I like the pixie hairs as well. They're very popular these days. Very trendy, actually, the pixie looking hairs. Yeah, I'll show you what that, if I see it, I'll show you what I mean. No. No. See, that gets ruined by the twin pigtails. That looks fine, except that dumb shit. This is really cool. Again, I like the details. That's what it is. I like these braids. I just don't really like, I don't like pigtails or whatever it's called. Not pigtails. The thing at the back. This looks dumb. It's an elven hair if I ever saw one. This is one of my favorite hairstyles in the game. My favorite hairstyle is basically that, but better. This is gorgeous. This, I think, is the most beautiful hairstyle in the fucking game. This is like Scottish fucking, you know, warrior woman hairstyle. It's gorgeous. This reminds me of the one I always used to use in Dark Souls. This I really like as well. There's something about tying it up that just works. There's a lot of I don't know what you'd say about this. There's a lot of this that have things that I don't generally like, but it just works. That I like, except these fucking things. The rest of it looks perfect. I'd probably use that, but these fucking things. Is this the hairstyle? This is the hairstyle, isn't it? Her 14. Is there a bigger one than that? Where's the pixie one I'm thinking of then? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Where like one side is shaved and they have this little bit coming over like that? That hairstyle. That is extremely popular. That is everywhere these days. It looks good though. I've used it on a bunch of characters in like character creators before. Yeah, that's the hairstyle. I thought so. I thought it was longer than that. It might look longer on different races. That is the coolest like fucking hair in the game. This like mild braid wild child look. Let's make her ginger. Let's give her some green highlights. I want one that don't look like one that look like. I want them to look mossy. Mossy is the look I'm going for. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look how cool it looks. Make her grey a little bit. This is such a cool feature they added semi-recently as well. Give her a little bit of an aging there. That's really cool. Like, again, if you have beards, you can have beards even as a woman in this game, can't you? Yeah, here we go. Does the graying work on the beard? So it does work on the beard. See, if I was playing a character like I'm meant to look like myself, I don't have any of this just yet, but I'd probably just put a little bit on it like that. Because I just think that adds a lot of character. You know what I mean? I like that. It's cool. But no, man, I really like the character creator in this. My major complaint with it, really, I don't mind ugly characters because, again, like, not everything has to be an American TV show, you know, and quite frankly, if I'm making a character that looks like myself, I'm not fucking perfect. So, yeah. I wonder if I can do that, actually. I can make a character that looks like me. We'll try that. But this has been fun. I've just been rambling about D&D and class races. I didn't think I'd be able to go on this long. Holy shit. Didn't realize the time. But yeah, the Gif Yankee's cool, man. I like the Gif Yankee. I think I named mine Gizmo when I first made one. They look like gremlins. Yeah, let's try and make one that looks like me. Yeah, my only complaint is there's two voices. There's basic ass British, basic ass American for male and female. That's it. And none of them sound fitting. They all sound like a goddamn Disney Plus or Netflix fucking or Amazon Prime fucking fantasy show. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, we're all modern people doing a bit of a LARP. That's what it sounds like. It does not remotely fit the setting. And it takes me out so much when I'm playing a fucking dwarf, and instead of going, I'm gonna kick your arse, I'm going, oh yes, well, quite. You know, it takes you out so fucking... Imagine playing a Dragonborn. Wait a minute, I'm gonna put the fucking audio on just for a second, okay? Because you'll hear it through my mic. Right, listen to this.
Let's hope the locals are friendly.
Help, be wary.
It's opened. I wonder what's back there.
Like, okay, dwarf. Right. Okay, this fucking voice on a dwarf.
More of those wretched things.
What the fuck is that? I don't know, but it's not a dwarf.
There's magic keeping this chest sealed.
That is not a
I can feel
dwarf.
its aura.
Imagine that on a fucking Dragonborn. Imagine that on a goddamn fucking dragon. That is ridiculous, man. That is fucking ridiculous. No. It's like they need more voices. I can't play a fucking I mean, it'd work on an elf, but I can't play a fucking Dragonborn and hear, oh yes, this is quite the predicament. Like, no. You need a bit of a guttural growl, like when you're playing a Dragonborn. You know, you need something. You need more choices of fucking voices other than that. I understand it's completely voice acted. There's a lot of voices in the game, but come on, at least choose something not so fucking generic as that bullshit. As boring as all hell. Right, let's make me. What is my skin color? I'm kind of pale. I don't have that face. Can we get a face that kind of looks like me? I'm kind of like big up here, and then I come wide. I'm big, I go down, I'm wide at the side, and then it's down again. I think it's called a diamond-shaped face. Oh, that actually kind of looks like... Maybe? The lips aren't right, but everything else kind of is. That one. That one's too chiseled. That one works. Alright, let's give him... I've got a little bit more red in my skin. That's about right. That's about right. Right, beard. We'll give him a beard. No. I wish. That's probably the closest we're getting. Alright. I've got dark, but... That is probably closer than that, isn't it? Like, it looks more like that. Alright. My hair is... Can we have, like, mild hair? Like, or, do I have the option of that? Or is like, bald the only option? Because I do shave my head. Like, there's that, but I'd want, like, a little bit of stubble. Do I not have that option? Is that not an option I have? You know, I'll finish me making this character, and Laurie will send me a message going, your character is boring! It should look like a clown, you boring. So, oh yeah, well, why do your characters look boring as well? Oh, that's right, because you don't want it to look legitimate. You don't want it to look fucking stupid. That's why they all look basic. Come on. It was funny when Lorian said that. Oh, everyone's making boring characters. They're making characters that fit. Ah, there we go. That's the hairstyle I'm talking about. I love that hairstyle, man. You mix that hairstyle with a little bit of color right there. It looks good. Looks real good, man. I like that, man. Let's get rid of the gray. But, yeah. What was I doing again? Oh, that's the wrong color. That one. Was it that one? Yeah, that one. See if we can find... You can find fucking... Okay, let's see. But yeah, it was funny when Lorien commented on that this is like the Viking hair as well now. I don't actually think Vikings had hair like that, but it's kind of like the modern equivalent of the horned helmet. Like, everybody knows that Vikings didn't have horned helmets. And every Viking show makes a point of that now for some reason. But they still do a bunch of shit that Vikings didn't actually goddamn do. But they do it because it looks cool, and in a few years that'll be more popular, so they'll start taking the piss out of that as well. It's funny the way that's worked. That's actually about right, isn't it? That is actually about right. 31B. I like just a bit of stubble up here, you know what I mean? But no, that's the best I'm getting. All right. Do we have options for eyebrows? No. Okay. Her color. Maybe actually add a little bit of highlights. So let's see. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. So I am darker in some areas. So if we highlight it just a little bit. Right. Okay. Really? Oh, I see. It is darker there. It just adds a little bit of tone to it. Yeah, I kind of like that one. Just adds a bit of tone. That's what we'll have. Actually, can we have like a darker brown? Yeah, we'll have a darker brown in there, just to add a bit of tone. There we go. See, can't quite see it, but it does affect it a little bit. We'll have a little. It's not real. I'm not graying, but we'll have just a little bit of it right there. Yeah. There we go. Eye color. Where's my eye color? Where the fuck is my eye color? Her color, eye color. I have mild blue, so they're so low tone, they look gray. So that is actually pretty apt. Like, that's the thing, like, gray looks legit as well, because gray looks blue. And gray eye colors are a thing. You can have gray eyes. They're literally just so mild they look blue. It's so mild they look gray, but they are blue eyes with very little pigmentation. But that's probably about right. Oh god, I look like Sargon of Akkad. No! 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 I'm not having a tattoo. I might have makeup though. A bit of makeup will do me, alright? A little bit? Yeah. What's that? Like, make a 4? Crawling in my skin. I actually like Linkin Park. I'm not taking the piss. 4. Let's mold it just a little bit. So what we'll do, actually, I know what we'll do. I know what we'll do. We'll do what we did in Dragon Age Inquisition. I like doing this. It's like purpley blue. They're all a bit too much. Purpley blue. No. I need that's probably the best we're gonna get. Okay. We'll have, ooh, like that. Yeah. And then make it real mild. Look at that! Look at that! It looks like he hasn't slept in a while. He's been raging too much. I love doing that with makeup, man. I love doing that shit. That's cool. Check it out. It's me. I mean, wait a minute. I mean, my beard, my cheeks, that's the problem. My cheeks don't stick up that much. That's the problem. It's like, yeah, like, it does come out here, but it doesn't come out that much. You know what I mean? It's like, it's wide, goes in. It's like, it goes in. Comes out around here, my cheekbones. Goes in a little bit, straight down. It's like a squashed diamond shape. Wonder if the other head would work. See what the other heads look like now that we've got all the other details. Identity, fuck you, is that... Oh, God, that is an ident... Oh. I mean, it's an option. Okay. No comment. Let's see what the other... Oh. Nah, I look pissed off. I look really pissed off. I mean, I look like a better warrior, a barbarian, but still. No, that one's the best bet. Yeah, that one is like the closest to me, but it looks so much like Sargon. Oh my god. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Okay. Beep. There we go. But yeah, man. I'm looking forward for this to finally be out. I think it's going to be a while, though. Like, it's Lorien. They're taking their time. They're making a lot of changes, but it looks great. It looks great. And I'm not actually going to... I mean, you can play Early Access right now, but I'm not actually going to consider it to be out until it's finished. Because this is, like, early access beta testing. You should not buy this game unless you're really interested in this kind of shit and you're prepared to wait years for it to come out. But... this is what I mean, like, they're spending a lot of time on this game. A lot of time on this game. And they've been making a lot of minor changes that add a lot in the long run. There's so much attention to detail here. It's kind of insane. And I respect the fact that they're taking their time in it. Like, the fact is that if this was any other studio, they'd have, like, what, 2 years at the max in order to shit it out. And they're beyond that at this point. So, they're beyond that by a few years at this point. So, it's like, this is what something like this takes time. This is why RPGs tend to be several years behind when it comes to graphics and things. Because they're such complicated games to do right that it takes a long time. And then if you're playing something like an MMO, take that and extend it like a multitude of years. It's why a lot of these games end up very basic in terms of graphics. Very basic in terms of mechanics, or very basic in terms of style. You know what I mean? Graphics and style is different because something needs to be sacrificed, and generally speaking, the more mechanically diverse game, the simpler its style and graphics is gonna be. But I think Baldur's Gate. It has pretty good graphics. They're not amazing, but for this genre, they're really fucking good. It's got like more than average in terms of like mechanics and options, but I think its style is very basic. But for D&D, it kind of works. I don't want something too over the top. You know what I mean? A little bit of fantasy is nice, but I want it to be a bit grounded. And I think this deals it quite well. So I'm very much looking forward to playing it when it finally comes out. But yeah. Take their goddamn time because they are doing well with this. I feel as if Lorien and Owlcat Studios, the guys behind the Pathfinder games, they're currently working on a Warhammer one right now. Lorien Studios and Owlcat Games, I think, are the companies right now when it comes to role-playing games. They are the companies. They are like the modern equivalent to what like Bioware was for me growing up. Like when they announce a game, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm very fucking interested because these guys have a pedigree. Lorien especially, I've enjoyed the Divinity series for a long time. Admittedly, I have not finished any of the original Sin games yet. I've been distracted by other things, but they're highly praised for a reason. So I've been taking a piss out of this and just having fun and rambling. But yeah. I'm very much looking forward to this coming out, and I've got a feeling that like there's a decent chance that when it does finally come out, it will be on my Game of the Year list, more than likely. So, yeah. My official one comes out, I think tomorrow, doesn't it? Let me have a look. Video, history, not history. What the fuck am I looking at my history for? Channel. Videos, premiere. The 24th. Yeah. Premieres the 24th. 8 o'clock. It's starting. Yeah. 8 o'clock London time or UK time tomorrow. That's when my premiere's coming out for my top 5 games for this year. So, there's a lot more. I've finished the first game on the list now, so there's a lot more I could have added to it, but I'm not going to say it now because I'll spoil it. But, yeah, it's good. it's very good. I'd probably be a bit more mild on it now, but if I waited this long, I wouldn't have got it done for the time I wanted to be uploaded anyway. But now this has been a fun little ramble. I mean, the whole thing was just to like get my mouth moving a little bit and take the piss and just have a bit of a laugh. Just I felt like doing it and just talking about D&D in general. But like for me, it's gonna be hard for me like not to go full hog into this game once they finally add Dragonborn, because I think that'll probably end up being the race that I'll play. Because honestly, the thing is, like, all the races in here are basically just humans. Like, okay, the Tiefling and the Githyanki to a lesser extent, but they are basically just humans. But orcs, half-orcs, like, I really want to see where they go with half-orcs, because half-orcs are a lot like, do you know the way I said, like, Dragonborn, everyone plays them with tails? Well, half-orcs in video games are always more orc than human. And I find when people play them, they play them as more human than orc. So they'll be quite attractive humans with some bestial features like mildly pointed ears, maybe some fangs, different coloured eyes, a slight off-coloured skin. And that's what most half-orcs tend to be. And that's kind of what people want. So I would want a half-orc in this game to be kind of that. And I think that would be easier for them to do as well, because most of the races are just human anyway. So I think that's what they're going to go with, especially with this body type, because this body type is nothing like what they typically go for with orcs in video games. It would be nice to have a body type slider, but I'm not going to expect that, because, or body type options, but I'm not going to expect that because for every body type that they give you, they've got to give you an equal version in terms of armor. And, you know, they've already got, like, dwarfs and like, this short stack races, so each one of these races outside of the basic human model ones are going to need their own armor. So if they add more on top of that, like, imagine each one of these with several different, like, body sliders. Even if it's just really thin, fat, somewhere in between, and buff, that is going to add so much more fucking work. That would be ridiculous. So I can't see them doing that, and I'm not going to expect it. But yeah, like, so I'm hoping. But the main one for me is going to be the Dragonborn. I'm hoping the Dragonborn actually look like Dragonborn and not just slightly reptilian humans, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to that. And that's probably why it's taken so long for us to get that as well, because they are the most unique out of any of these. So if we do get another race again, it'll be the half-orc. That's what we'll get. And then later on, much later on, we'll probably get the Dragonborn. But now I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what it's like when it comes out. I've been avoiding as many spoilers as possible. But yeah, the Githyanki is definitely my favourite so far. I really like them. I've played one of these a few times. I really like how they look. Yeah, they're cool. I'm not really big on any of the companions in the game so far, though. Most of them kind of bore me. And the one companion that I do kind of like, which again is the Githyanki, she's got the Morrigan effect from Dragon Age, where she's too antagonistic, and she would probably end up hating me. She's like a mixture of Morrigan and Sten from Dragon Age Origins. It's like she's self-assured and a bit of a bitch, but at the same time she's like full on focus on the mission like Sten. So it's like she's got a kind of an awkward I wouldn't say annoying, but she's awkward to deal with without her hating you, whilst also not being a prick. So, we'll see. But, yeah, it's been fun. I'm gonna end this now anyway. I've rambled on way too long. If you watch me this whole thing, are you high? See you guys next time.